Okay. Hello, everyone. Whoa, the microphone is loud today. I gotta lower this mic. So, it is Friday the 20th, and we have a lot to talk about regarding the MTA in this specific video. I think there's a lot we have to get into before this calendar year ends, so we're going to focus it on three priorities with the MTA. And that is talking about not only congestion pricing. I mean, I'm not going to go further much into it. We know the prices. We know the whole schlemiel. In fact, it's gotten to a point where now, just like they did in the summer, the MTA is taking out full-page ads in the daily news reminding people about congestion pricing. See, here it is right here. This is the daily news from yesterday. Look at this. So, I literally got relatives and people freaking out that now my relatives are going to have to think, well, this is just my Staten Island relatives I was talking about yesterday. They have a son who lives in the congestion pricing release zone, who happens to be my cousin. So, now what they're going to do is they're going to have to go into Manhattan, alright, before 9 a.m. just to beat that $9 toll. Which they can arrange their schedule to do it. And they're going to have to be early birds just to see their son. And not to mention my other cousin, who is his wife. Now they are going to have to plan that out very carefully coming from the South Shore of Staten Island. I'm not going to say what neighborhood they are in, but they are on the South Shore of Staten Island. So just to give you an example here of what the MTA has in scheme for us. What they also have in scheme for us, besides the congestion pricing scheme set to start on January 5th, beginning in August. So August 1st, 2025. Mark the date. Dun, dun, dun. And it was expected because we knew it was coming in 2025. And the kicker also goes into 2027. There will be fare hikes for the next bi-yearly plan for the MTA to meet up with the Consumer Price Index. So this has nothing to do with congestion pricing. This has to do with the fact that we go into the analogy of a slice of pizza costing $3. Okay? This is how the MTA always plans their, I guess, fare in this sense for bus and subways. And for me being a disabled passenger, I'm now going to have to pay an additional 10 cents. So now I think my fare is going to be $150 or $155. I think it's going to be $155. So look at that. I'm paying $1.55 to ride the buses and the subways if I'm still in New York in August. There is a possibility that could be the case. I hope not, but yeah. So they voted back on Wednesday, the 18th. So you see here that you have the chairman bragging. You know, he is such, I'm going to say this word, he is such a narcissist. He is such a narcissist. The way that his attitude is, and, you know, there's other words that I can say on here since this is a family-friendly channel. I know Charlton gave me an approved list of the words I can use for Jano. So here are the words that I am allowed to say because Charlton was able to help me out. Charlton DeSouza Passengers United. I'm going to say it for this video. Not only is the chairman a narcissist, Jano Lieber, but he's rich, egomaniacal, Decideful. The same can be said about the lady with the glasses and the black hair that we're not going to say her name on here because then it will get me even more angrier. So let's just continue reading this. So we all remembered that the MTA kept the fares straight from $275 to $290. So we knew that was coming. Now, yes, and again, I've been noticing it this particular year. And even though I am not going to need the subway until April, because I have no personal need to go into Manhattan from now until April, because everyone of you knows me here on Andy's Randomness, that I go to the Macy's Flower Show each and every spring in Herald Square. Alright? So that's still happening. I don't expect to leave New York until at some point next summer for good. So I am guaranteed to at least see one more Macy's Flower Show in April of next year. So this is 4 months out. We're planning ahead from here. So yes, I've noticed the subways this year. They're getting back to their pre-pandemic levels. They're starting to get there. So ridership is increasing, which is a good thing. But people are not paying the fares. All right, well, there's other transit agencies that don't have fares. Like Kansas City, for example. I think Jack Nierberg gave me an example of how Kansas City, Washington, D.C., for an example, even I know this for a fact, and I told Jack this before. There's 4 bus routes in downtown Orlando. I think Orlando has 4 free bus routes downtown that I think they get subsidies from the state of Florida. I don't know how it works, but even Jack did this, and he double-checked it, and he's like, you're right. So we can add Orlando to American metropolitan cities that don't make people pay. But yet New York does, Philadelphia does, Boston does, Chicago does. But yet look what they're claiming it on. Look what they're saying here. You know what they're basing it on? They're basing it on the fact that they're going to be saying that they need 80 open gangway cars. What is this? I mean, really? And here's a quote that City Councilman Joel Borelli said. Chicago Transit bought 400 cars for $632 million pre-pandemic. Quoted in yesterday's New York Post. This was in the New York Post yesterday. In the physical print edition. So Chicago, despite them having the most violent crime per capita, which is true, they have the most shootings per capita, most violent crimes per capita. I know they're in the top 5. That's a guarantee. I think Detroit's on that list too. But so Chicago somehow knows what they're doing before 2020. And yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, it's... Look at this. So again, the 5-year plan, and again, quote, the plan, which again, we'll see the fares go up in 2027. So you're looking at $3.14 come August of 2027, possibly. And then look what Bob Holden, city council member from Queens, said. Quote, the miserable transit authority strikes again, raiding the pockets of hardworking New Yorkers with their, quote, congestion tax scheme and endless fare and toll hikes, which the tolls are going to go up again. So for my coworkers at Haslam Hall, for an example, who may need to take the Throgs Neck Bridge direct to the facility, when they come from the Bronx or they're coming from Westchester to drive down to Haslam Hall, now they're going to have to take money out of their paychecks taking the Throx Neck Bridge on a daily basis just to go into the facility. I mean, really. This is just another way to force people out of New York. This is all designed to drive the common sense New Yorkers like me out, like Bob Holden out. At some point, Vicky Palladino's going to have to leave New York. Just saying. I mean, she gets one more term. You think she's going to stay in Whitestone? No, she's going to go to a state like Florida where her money will matter. Now, yes, despite me going to a blue state, not to make it all about politics here, but guess where the money now goes? You think corporate America's only going to stay in Florida? They're going to Delaware too. So, yeah, see all the wonderful buildings you see on I-95 in Wilmington? Because I've driven past it numerous times when I've gone to Brandywine recently along Route 202. You know, corporate America's leaving New York. The billionaires are leaving. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Corporate America is leaving New York by 2030. Not now, but in 5 years. So when I warn you all that this is all a scheme, so what does Hochul want to do now? She wants to put more National Guard members. Look what she wants to do. Look what she wants to do. How many times has Hochul given you this nonsense? Each and every time she's done these ridiculous press conferences, that Kathy Hochul thinks that she's making some statement that we're not going to tolerate this anymore. Well, look what happened with Jordan Neely. Look what happened. People are getting disgusted with how unsafe the subways are. So, somehow I don't have a problem with the E and the F train a couple of days ago. I don't know how I'm one of the lucky ones. But yet, you know, maybe there is a stigma going around it. Maybe the subways are starting to get there. But the only way you really start to get there is if, and again, it all goes to how the laws work in this state. And I've been saying it for now 5 years. You have to repeal this disastrous bail reform law. The criminals have to be held accountable for their actions. And deploying another 250 members of the National Guard, well, what's that going to do? You're going to make them check bags again at Grand Central 42nd? You know people are just going to find another way to enter the station, right? I mean, I know Grand Central very well. All right, I know the Madison Concourse of the Long Island Railroad very well. I know how to get on from the elevator at 48th Street. I know where that other building is on West 47th. No, my bad, East 47th Street. Where I can just walk underneath Grand Central Madison. I know it's a long walk. I've done it before. But I know how to enter. So again, this is how Hochul wastes our money. Not just her, but it's General Lieber too. The MTA is a mismanaged agency. It goes to this whole pattern of why the MTA is doing this to us. They're so mismanaged that they're coming up with schemes left and right. And at some point, I'm surprised the MTA doesn't even file for bankruptcy next year. That wouldn't surprise me. So now they're claiming that we have security cameras in the cars. They're getting rid of the gangway, the other subway cars on the N and the R and the W trains, I think, this year. The old school ones. Because I have not seen an R46 on the F train in who knows how long. I don't even remember the last time I took an F train that had an R46 on it. It must have been years, probably before the pandemic. Okay, so now that we're done ranting about fare hikes and congestion pricing and wasting the National Guard, now we're going to talk about the Queen's Bus redesign. And oh boy, am I very upset about the Q76. Am I so upset about it? I am beyond angry. So, there's now going to be a virtual town hall. Oh, believe me, I'm going to speak at that. Believe me, I'm going to speak at that. They cannot go through with making the Q76 go down 14th Avenue. And we're going to do a little POV tour. Okay? Boy. At least the good news is the Q30 got saved. So, hopefully we're going to have more frequent service on Union Turnpike on the Q46, because that would actually help the real estate value in this neighborhood. Now, here's the problem. They claim that they're going to make it more accessible to access the Long Island Railroad. Okay, that's not that bad. But the 31 is now going to stay on Bell Boulevard, which, again, you can't always get what you want. In terms of not what I want, but again, and this is what Charlton says, it's what the community wants. And for once, I'm actually caring about what the College Point community wants. For once, I'm doing it. Right? Am I doing it? I certainly think I am. So I want to see if we can find the addendum. And then we're going to take a little virtual tour on Google Maps to wrap up this video, because tonight there's going to be a virtual event, and tonight what I'm going to do, not only talk about the 76 situation, but I specifically want to hear from the residents of Northwest Queens, because there seems to be some issues that I'm not really understanding as much. Because I think the community would be, those community members would be better at explaining it than I am. Because, I'm not that familiar with it as much. So, trying to find where is the Queen's Bus redesign. See, this is the problem. I mean, how in the world do you not... Oh, here it is. You have to scroll down. I mean, really, it should be on the homepage. Really should be on the homepage. I don't know why it's not. Okay. So, Northeast and Southeast Queens-wise, I can explain the plan a little bit better the way it is at the moment. So, first things first, as again, there's going to be no Q44 extension to Fordham. I'm very disappointed in the MTA. I thought they were going to do it in the original plan. I was for it. But again, now they're telling everybody, sorry, you're still going to have to take another bus to get further into Fordham, which, that's still a mistake. I don't know why they can't put the bus near Fordham. I mean, really. The only good thing about it is at least the subway is accessible. So at least Pelham Parkway is accessible to get to that subway station, but... Yeah, see, here's West Farms right here. So at least the subway is accessible now. So, that's one way I can look at it, I guess. But then the other issue, again, let's just focus on Queens. Okay, no noticeable change to the Q19, so at least those people, you know. So let's see what's going on with the Q102. Let's see, is it going back to, Queens Plaza? Looks like it is. Okay. So at least they're not drastically changing that. Oh my goodness. Imagine if they did that. So now what they're doing is there's now going to be a Q63 route that will go further down to Court Square. So the MTA is actually adding additional service along the Northern Boulevard corridor. Okay. I didn't want to get into Northwest Queens, but I figured I wanted to see it for myself. Alright. Looks like we're going to have a brand new Q90 route that will run from Flushing, it looks like, all the way to LaGuardia Airport. So look at that. They're now adding an additional bus. Wait. Oh, now I see what they're doing. Q48's now getting reimagined. Look at that. So look, they're changing the Q48. Now going to be called the Q90? Wow. So again, good news about the Q31 Bay Terrace. Bad news for those students who go to Bayside High School. I know they're not going to be too happy when I say this, but you're going to have to walk to Bell Boulevard. I know it's a major inconvenience, but these kids have to understand that Bay Terrace is a more urgent priority. The community's been advocating for years. Why can't the 31 go straight up to Bay Terrace? So at least that's going to be okay in that sense. Let's see what we got here. So yes, the 76. We're going to get into that in just a second to wrap up this video.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you something. This is good. I know it's lunchtime.
So, continuing on here. Q17 doesn't get changed. Q88 still remains the same, which is good news. Looks like the Q1, I don't think it's going to be running along Springfield Boulevard anymore in Queens Village, so they're changing that one up, it looks like. And the Q110. Oh boy. What are they doing with the Charlton bus route, as I like to call it? Look at that. Looks like it's going to go further down Jamaica Avenue. So it goes further down Jamaica Avenue. And it looks like it's going to start from Floral Park now. Only problem is now, the Q2. Oh my goodness, that's going to be so crowded. That route is going to be so crowded, I don't even want to imagine how that's going to work out. In fact, from the Hollis Long Island Railroad Station, I don't know how accessible the Q2 and then the Q110 buses are going to be. That is a good question. Okay. We see here we have a brand new Q74 route. Now, this Q74 route looks like it's going to start off in Fresh Meadows, I think. Yeah, so let's see. Here's the 74. You see? So that will be the 74. So look at that. The 74 is going to start at Cardozo High School. So look at that. Now you're going to have another route, Q75, that will be taking students to and from the college and going... Alright, so at least you're going to have more service along Horace Harding. So I'm glad the MTA is at least accounting the traffic factor, because the 31 is still going to be stuck in traffic along 48th Avenue and Bell Boulevard. So I don't know how that's going to work out in terms of frequency. So I don't think there's going to be a Q20B or a... Alright, let's see what we have here. Yep, like I figured, Q34 is getting cut. I had a feeling that would happen. Why did I have a bad feeling that would happen? So the 34 is getting cut. Look at that. So that means on the original Q34 route, they're telling everybody, sorry, go to Flushing, take the Q61. Wow. You also have the Q15, but what's that really going to do? Is that really going to solve anything? I can't say right now. Okay. So now that we have solved that dilemma, now that we have figured, I guess, that part of the equation out, now we gotta talk about the Q76, and oh boy, am I not happy. Look what they want to do with the Q76. 14th Avenue. You mean really? So now the Q20 is going to have to strictly serve that area? So now you're telling everybody you're going to have to walk an extra couple of blocks to access the shopping plaza in College Point. I mean, let me show you what I'm talking about, because this is just unbelievable what they're doing. So this is 14th Avenue in Whitestone, okay? Now look how narrow this street is. I don't know how in the world is a bus going to be able to get through this. Because first of all, these are residential houses. Alright, the MTA is not accounting the fact that now there's going to be buses going past their houses. That's going to really anger the community. It should anger the community. I mean, how is this allowed? Already, you may be wondering. Unless there's already a bus stop here. Let's see. And here's the bus stop. Let's see what bus stop this is. Let me just go back further. Yeah, see that? The 76 already goes down here. So maybe it is feasible. I don't know. But still. The issue is when you go down the street, you know, I'm trying to find 153rd Street. So let's just continue going down. So here's 146th. Alright, so I want to go further past the Cross Island and see if I can drag this over here. Let's circle back. And let's just start off from, I would say, here. Let's start off with 138th and 15th. So let's say, is there a back entrance to get into the College Point shopping plaza? I don't think there is. Is there? There might be. I don't know. There could be. Is there a back entrance? I'll have to see. I can't really tell by past the park. Nope, I don't think there's an entrance. I really don't think there's a back way to get in. Because look, this is sealed off. That's the shopping center right there. Look at that. So there's basically no way to get into the plaza. Unless you're telling everybody. Yeah, see that? That's a fenced up area. There's no way to get into the plaza. That's the parking lot. Right? So let's say you're getting off at 132nd Street. Let's just start off from there. So we're going to see how accessible this really, really is. Alright, so here's 132nd Street. Let's see, I'm trying to go further down. Is this 132nd? I'm trying to... Yeah, here's CVS. Okay. Well, this has to be 14th, right? Let me see if I can move it a little bit here. Let's start off from here. Okay? So you have to go past the park. So that's 1 block from here, right? So you have to go this way, down 132nd Street. So look how long this is going to take to get to the plaza in College Point. Look how long this is going to take. So here's the first block. I mean, does the MTA really think that people are just going to walk through this little area? Yeah, see, here's the back. Yeah, look at that, see? So here's the plaza right here. I mean, I don't know how the MTA is allowed to do this. Right? I really don't know how they are allowed to do this. This is how they're telling people to access the shopping plaza in College Point. When it should be on 20th Avenue. I mean, really? Yeah, I thought I just saw shop right here. Let me move this back a little bit. I don't know why this is not moving. Okay, so I guess ShopRite is somewhat accessible. You're going to have to walk further down to get to where you need to be. I'm just trying to get back to ShopRite. Yeah, so here's ShopRite, so it is somewhat accessible. Okay. But still, I mean, it would make a lot more sense to have the bus on 20th Avenue, wouldn't it? So there's going to be a lot of outraged people. I'm already outraged, and I think I'm done talking. I think I'm done here. So we're going to wrap this up. I'm done talking. I think a half hour is enough for one video. So I'm done for now. And I think there's going to be a lot more said later tonight. And I think maybe there will be a lot more next couple of weeks going into the new year. So that's it.